Hello again, garden friends. I'd like to welcome you back to the Yarden. I'm David Sabio. We got a nice cloudy day. We've been getting rain, which we've definitely needed. And you'll have to pardon my squinting. I just came from the eye doctor, so the light's kind of harsh on me even in this cloudy conditions. But what we're about to see really opened my eyes, and that's why I had to get out here and do a little filming. I always am surprised when I try to say, oh, this would be the time to come see it, but give it a week, man, the garden does something else, and I go, no, this is the week. And hopefully this is the whole point of doing these videos, and I really hope you enjoy this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in front of the camera this time. There's a lot of really cool things to see here. Again, even as I try to film this right here, I can't keep it turning my head. There's so much going on. It's so exciting, but this is the fun of a garden, you know, and to have this ongoing display and figuring out what fills those gaps each time of the year. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this. Let's get to walking around. I'm going to turn the camera around and we can see some really beautiful things today. Right here we have Pink Fantasy. That's amazing for a new clematis. I haven't even put that in the ground yet. This is just some staging. I wanted to see, but this apparently is going to be a good spot, especially against the Lily Ann's Jewel. So you can see sort of the light pink with the purpley burgundy stamens, a little bit of a darker bar too. But just imagine that, you don't have to, I'm actually going right there, with these beautiful leaves on Lily Ann's Jewel. The pink against the dark burgundy, little splashes of lighter pink and sometimes white at times. So I don't want to plant this right under it. I figure if I can grow it here, certainly looks good as a standalone, especially above these lower plants along the ground here. But being a vine, imagine if it sent a vine with some tendrils out over here. I would certainly let it play around these branches. God, that'd be something to look forward to. Let's get one more peek at some of these new blooms coming. Wow, that's a good looking clematis. This should be a pretty nice pairing. Even if they never touch, you'll be able to tell they're still dancing. Oh wow, the pineapple guava. Now there's more light coming in here, predominantly morning light. Lots of blooms. We had trees removed over in this area a few years ago when one of the river birches rotted and fell. So while we were at it, we figured we'd go ahead and clean up a few of the other possibly problematic ones, which has allowed more sun in here. And this is definite evidence of that extra sun. So this is a nice looking shrub, but it hasn't really bloomed much, but there's a lot of blooms this year. Wow, this is awesome. These blooms are edible. Kind of got a cinnamony, cinnamony cotton candy type flavor. We've put them on like fruit pizzas when it decorates it up really nice, but it is edible and actually kind of enjoyable. Wow, that's really a lot this year. Again, this is the bloom. Told you it's edible. It's pretty cool. It's you may not want a plate of them, but it's nice. It's certainly not unpleasant because the fruit you get from it is really quite insignificant. I think the flower is more significant than the fruit. So anyway, something to consider if you grow one. It's not bad. keep that in mind. You ever want to decorate something up, you definitely achieve that with these blooms. I'm sure the flavor, like anything, could be personal to each person, but it does have a little sweetness to it. So I would say it's certainly something to be enjoyed. Oh wow, this bloom's all the way back there. Give me a second. Oh my goodness. They do tend to do these little pairs, which is kind of nice. Like little crowns. Little king and queen of the shrub. Well, I'm glad I got to share this with you. I haven't seen it do this in a long time. I had another one in the backyard years ago that I kind of grew like a tree, but the weight eventually got to where it cracked itself over and it just really got difficult to repair. And I removed it. But this one now has taken its place. Pretty cool. Okay, so this little passage to the back is coming along nicely. And by that I mean just the way the colors are coming out. We have this Chinzen azalea. It's still got a ways to go. This will practically be covered with these super hot pink fuchsia blooms. This is a little early. I mean, there's some back here. You kind of get the idea. It's a later blooming azalea, which is nice. Have this Acer rubrum, Snowfire, and you can see the hot pink tips there. Let me get a little closer so you can kind of see without the sun kind of blowing it out. Just kind of like fun little ice cream, icicle pops you might get from the ice cream truck back when you were a kid. That's what it kind of reminds me of. I always love this look. Zoom up top. I've been keeping this kind of shrubby for a while. It is a tree. I will still probably do a prune after it starts to fade, which oftentimes actually gives me a second push of these really colorful tips, which is just awesome. And as we move along just past it, this is Hydrangea Miss Sayori. So again, I got this kind of cream and red bloom. It's only a white bloom with these reddish burgundy kind of pinky margins, a little picotee on them. And oh, here's one that I rescued last year that it's not in great shape, but that would suggest otherwise. I mean, I've got foliage down below, and then this stem up top with some color. It's interesting, the red on this is pretty deep right now. So anyway, oh, and scrambling through here, there's nothing to see yet, but this is Clematis avant-garde. It's a very unique bloom, kind of small, usually maybe around 2 inches. It's a hot fuchsia magenta with this star-like center, and it's moving through this hydrangea, and also will come out to this little trellis a little bit because it's more sun over here. This is it would be west to the right of me. So I'm just going to back out just so we can kind of take all this in. Now, this is beautiful. It's inviting. You got to come see it, but then you're at the garden gate and you want to move a little further into the back, which would be where some of that woodland edge is that I recently showcased. So we're swinging around here. Oh, we can't not talk about these. This has been my favorite heuchera for the last few seasons. This is Red Lightning. Just a striking leaf. That deep red veins. And this yellow. You see different stages here. This one's probably got the most prominent look right now. Got another little cinnamon stick. Back here you can see the new bright red growth on that, which I thought would kind of complement this red veining. That's in the Carnival series, which has been very reliable. Certainly perennial to the extent that I comfortably say perennial, because heucheras I've gotten to where I treat a lot of them like annuals. If I get a season or two, I'm stoked, as long as I didn't spend a ton of money. But all my Red Lightnings have done really well. Again, this has been my favorite for a while. And I always just seem to find one or two when I'm out. But last year locally, a little small place, I must have gotten several trays in. I was so surprised, and I went ahead and snatched up a few more than I normally would, just because I don't know when I'll come across again. There's a little bog garden. That stone there is going to be a fountain. So you're seeing a little bit of construction there too, but again, the garden can't be beautiful in every single aspect all the time, but that will be. But just so I can show you, I got a few more Red Lightnings over here. Again, that is just amazing. Backing out, I noticed as we come this way, this beautiful salvia blooms all summer from late spring. Again, as you can see, if we back out, looks nice foiled against the little honey hydrangea back there. And I can actually see there's some Clematis champagne, which is doing the thing I wanted. But before we get there, oh yeah, look at this. This is Lady Kiyoko Clematis, Japanese breed. I've been wanting this for a while. I finally got my hands on one a couple of seasons ago. It actually bloomed its first season last year, although they were really kind of odd, not very big, and certainly did not have this feature here. There are these layers which were post-rain, so they're laying a little flat, but who cares? That's amazing, and you can picture what it's gonna do. Oh, lots of little buds here. So this is only its second season in the ground, so this is impressive. This makes me happy. So it's coming actually through my tree peony, because its roots are all the way back over here. I did actually have to cut one out again because of wilt. Actually, I can show you right there. I did have another vine going up top, but it just happens. And it's okay, because I have this to make up for it and show that it's a healthy vine. That's a very fun one. I love these picotees on these sepals. It's almost like a fancier Samaritan Joe, and I love Samaritan Joe. So, Lady Kiyoko, that's a good one. But back over here, there is pink champagne, and from my very first video I came across a vine that was scrambling through here that had really deformed petals that were small, just lacking some color. And again, I thought it might be green petal disease, which can be lethal if I understand correctly to the whole vine. But I went and clipped that one out because I saw some healthy vines with larger buds, and this is what is coming of that. So man, that's hot. Wow. And I've got the hydrangea bloom beginning. Ooh, in the future, this is gonna be quite exquisite. So anyway, pink champagne running through oak leaf hydrangea, little honey. You can't be sad looking at that. Just move along a little bit here. Some of these colors, and that silver lock Korean fir is just, mine grows a little more prostrate, but that's okay, it works. Oh, another one of the, oh gosh, there's a lot going on in here. Look at all this color and leaf form and texture and spikes. We'll get over there. This is another little Satsuki that I'm digging. Again, we're post rain, it's a little wet. This is Suki no Shimo. Nice soft pink. With a little bit of darker pink. Spotted centers. But that's growing really nice. Still got blooms coming on this. I'm thankful for the rain though. It's been really dry. So I'll take a little bit of the ugly, if you will. And it's not ugly. In fact, I remember when I showed my grandmother before she passed away, she was in a home and she wasn't going to be able to travel, and so we brought a little computer with a bunch of pictures, and she said the cutest thing as she got close to the end of the pictures we showed her, and what she said was, "I believe the ugliest thing in your garden is beautiful." I have loved that statement. We're going to have a sign made in her honor and stick it in the garden. I thought it was the wittiest, cleverest thing a 98-year-old woman could say. It just tickled me. It's just some little miniature hostas, some other Satsukis. I believe this is Hilda Niblet. That name alone will make you want to buy it. But again, blooms a little later in the season. Bunch of alliums. Little fireworks through here in a moment. And then more clematis. This is a great one. This is Venosa violacea, which is a Viticella, which is I think one of the Italian breeds. And what's nice is that they tend to be wilt resistant. I don't know how 100% that is, but it is something I don't see on these. I haven't yet. So I've actually added a few others in the Viticella family into the garden in hopes of having something unaffected by wilt, because as you heard me mention several times, it's going to happen. Some more Hilda Niblet. Oh, what an amazing azalea. Again, they're all just starting. I got tons of blooms coming. I love these crazy colors they can get. You can get a solid pink bloom, these little variegated pink blooms, little streaks. And it's a low growing azalea. You can see it just kind of mounds over and creeps around. Oh my goodness. And then sapphire indigo, another scrambler. And I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but I'm going to back up just so you can kind of see. It grows more towards the shade. I always used to try to get it to come this way. Like I have one branch again I pulled this year. It's a few spent blooms, but there's another one coming right here. But the majority of it just grows out that way. no matter how many times I pull it this way. So keep that in mind. This, I'm going to come around so you can see all these blooms under this gorgeous Rhode Island red Japanese maple. I mean, that is, woo, that is prolific. I think these two, they almost look like shiny metal, at least in my eyes. I don't know if the camera is doing it, but God, what an amazing effect. Kind of iridescent almost right now. But again, it's funny, it always comes this way. I put its roots on this side because you always hear, you know, feet in the shade, head in the sun. I'll come back to that because I'm not totally convinced that that's an absolute guideline. It's not a bad guideline. But no matter how many times I've pulled it to the other side of the chase tree, it grows this way, almost as if to get under the shade of this Rhode Island red. And look at that, the clematis blooms with the azalea blooms. And again, we're gonna have tons of alliums here. I hope the camera can focus on that. Just, oh, look at that cluster of blooms. Dude, that's huge. That bloom looks like the leaf on this heuchera. This is also in the Carnival series. This is watermelon. Another one I would recommend. This one has been growing and coming back year after year. As we back out, you see the nice color play with the blue Hetzi juniper. All right, folks, I'm gonna back out. I think I'm just rambling and just stuck in my own awe in my head. I hope you enjoyed this. There's just tons out here and more to come. I hope to give you some more before long. Okay, so actually I'm not completely done. I want to come over here and address this mass of gorgeousness. This Christine bought for me is Still Waters, which we now know is not. I'm pretty sure it's Jackmanii. And it ended up being a happy accident because it's definitely vigorous. Starts to bloom a little bit later, and it just climbs up here like effortlessly. I've put wires there and it still wants to go beyond that. It might grow on the roof if I allowed it. And then just beyond that is Skyfall, which is a beautiful sort of like baby bluish lavender. So I love the sort of basically the dark purple and the light purple. It's just amazing. I'll get a little closer. I don't want to step over this other clematis in front of me. So I'll come around. And a couple here of the little Boulevard series that I like, and I'm just letting them grow in their pots right now. Agapanthus. This Agapanthus with the Nignon looks really good. I believe this is Pompeii. Olympia. Olympia is a lot like H.F. Young. Smaller bloom, and I think it's a little more cupped, which is a nice feature. Now, there's more coming. Again, the rain kind of did a number, but it still looks so good. And oh, look at all the growth. So I'm going to cut the camera off and go to the other side here so we can get a look at this a little closer. Okay, I've come around the Gold Mop Chemacypris here, which again, the yellow with the purple, it just works so good as well. So I'm going to get up a little closer on some of these Skyfall blooms. Oh, I mean, that is just awesome. This vine has some vigor too. This is a fairly young vine. It's my garden. I'm kind of making this whole area sort of a clematis bed with different ones that'll hopefully bloom at different times. Like, here's John Warren, that's finishing up. I apologize for the disaster back here. It's kind of a work in progress, but it's also pretty well masked with these beautiful clematis blooms. I can tolerate it. No one says, especially what's going to come of this. This is actually another vine here. We're going to have to come back to this. This is Astronova, another kind of unique bloom, star-like with layers. So hey, we got more to look forward to. How amazing is that? But look at this, like butterflies. Come home to a mass of butterflies just hanging around the porch. I could have a bad day, but I'm going into my house with a smile. Well, friends, I certainly hope you enjoyed that. I think it's pretty obvious I did. I apologize if I got a little carried away. It's so exciting. I mean, to see the garden roll out like this and all these waves, and never being able to say for sure what is the best time, because it's always the best time, it seems. I mean, every day, every week, every season has a little something to offer here, and I hope I can keep sharing it. So again, thank you for coming along. Please let me know your thoughts, give me some feedback, and till next time, I'll see you in the Yarden.